Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are back with another very cool Lulu's Customs and Classics figure, though this time we're going to go a little bit of a different route because he is considering releasing some model kits for his Carnotaurus, and that's what we are looking at here today, his CHAMELEON Carnotaurus, which I think is one of the coolest Carnotaurus figures I've ever seen, and I have actually reviewed some of his CHAMELEON Carnotaurus in the past that were sculpted, of course, and painted by him, but he's altered this one a bit to give it a more updated appearance compared to the ones that I had previously taken a look at, and this would be the version I believe that would be in model kit form. So super hyped to get a look at this one, and on top of that, to paint my very first Lulu's Customs and Classics figure. I haven't painted any yet, so I'm really excited to do that here with this version. But before we actually get into that, first of all, there is a super cool laminated sheet that comes with this to actually give you a little bit of information. Actually, let's move the CARNO out of the way just so we can move this back a little bit. But you can see this is basically a personal log from Henry Wu, and it obviously states that this is on Isla Sorna, again Site B, which is exactly where the Carnotaurus is located in the Lost World novel. You can see here as you move through, you've got all sorts of really cool information, basically again a little personal log that he has created by Henry Wu. We also have the Jurassic Park logo up there, and as you can see, it states confidential. I'm clearly not going to read the entire thing, but I have already read it, and I must say I really thoroughly enjoy this. I think this would be a great idea, honestly, to include with every one of his releases that are Jurassic related. So definitely an awesome addition to this release. I love the fact that this is included. But before we, of course, get this Carnotaurus painted up and finished and looking pretty, we need to take a nice little closer look at it, so let's jump to a closer look and check it out from there. Now, I'm not sure if you took the time to pause the video and take a look at the sheet again that I had shown off, but in that sheet, what he basically has said in that is that the males and females look different, and that the males are a bit more vibrant in color than the females. And I think that this is his interpretation of the male. I'm pretty sure that's what he said. It definitely looks like a male to me, especially like the sagging skin. I feel like should just have some really cool color, maybe for like, you know, mating purposes. But I feel like, again, with the sculpt being the male, I'm going to have to try to find a fairly nice looking, kind of flashier color scheme for this one. But as you start up here in the head sculpt, you can see the detail looks very nice. We can very clearly see the similarities of a Carnotaurus, where we also at the same time have similarities of a chameleon. He's perfectly, I think, blended a dinosaur and a chameleon in this head sculpt, and you can really see that. You can also see the mouth is sculpted in an open position. We've got the tongue in there. We have the teeth showing, of course, and then you can see on the inside of the mouth and the upper side as well. Looks really quite nice. The detail overall on his figure is fantastic, I would say. You can see the eyes are very chameleon-like, like super obviously very chameleon-like, which is really cool. We can see the nostrils right there. We do, of course, have the Carnotaurus horns, which, you know, no Carnotaurus would be complete without, but you can see they've got some pretty good size to them. I really like how large he's created those horns for the Carnotaurus. You can also see like some small ridges kind of hanging off the underside of the lower jaw. They do follow along that sagging skin in the throat. You can see, like, you know, some creasing in the skin of that sagging skin right there. You can also see beautiful scale details. Some areas have really fine scales. Some areas have much larger scales. We have ridges moving down along the back of the neck of the Carnotaurus as well. As you move down, you've got some kind of creasing right there in the skin at the bottom of the neck, because the dinosaur has its head kind of leaning up, so it would definitely be creasing the skin right there like that. And again, the detail looks fantastic as we move through. You can really see he has put a lot of time and effort into the sculpt of this Carnotaurus. It's going to be so fun to paint. As you move down, you can also see the arms. Again, very nice small Carnotaurus arms. They are held into the body in a really nice natural way on top of everything. I love that. Again, kind of giving us that more accurate version of a Carnotaurus, very clearly blended with a crazy chameleon version. As you move back into the stomach, you can see more really nice looking skin detail throughout, all sorts of variation to the scales. We can see the ridges moving along the back. Again, as they lead down from the neck, they start to kind of taper off a little bit, get very small, but then they start to pick back up again as we move along the back of the dinosaur. Moving down, you can see the hip bone. You can also see the seam where the leg is connected, because again, this is a model kit, so I did have to assemble this. It comes in a few different pieces. You basically have to connect the legs and the tail, and that's really about it if I remember correctly. I think that's all I glued onto this. So there's not a whole lot of assembly when it comes to this model kit version, but as you move down you can see again all sorts of very bumpy scales and skin texture looking quite nice overall. You've got a big cluster of larger scales in the knee. You can also see the calf muscle there flexing. As you move down into the foot sculpt, we've got some nice scoots moving down the toes, and then again the nails sculpted really quite nicely. He also has flattened the bottom of the foot really nicely that helps these figures balance perfectly, so that was a very smart choice on his part. As you move back up, you can see again a little bit of finer scaling right there. As you move out through the course of the tail is almost straight out, but you can see some slight curvatures to it. If you look from up above, for the most part, it's pretty straight out, and obviously we can see the ridges following along the back, again tapering off as you lead down through the course of that tail, which does have some pretty good length to it. If you move along the underside, if my camera decides to focus, there we go, you can again see the very nice thin appearance to the Carnotaurus. You can also see that the skin texture looks quite nice on the underside. And then if we take a look at the opposing side, for the most part, it's not going to look too different over here compared to what we had just seen on the first side. The only really big difference would be the positioning of the leg. Obviously, the leg on this side is trailing a lot more than what we see on the other side. You can also again see the muscles tensing and everything as you move down through the course of the leg. But you can also see how the foot is picking up off of the ground as the Carnotaurus kind of leans forward. You've got a nice bend in the toes, and again, obviously, the Carnotaurus is letting out some form of a vocalization. But we are at that point now where I can go ahead, get to work on this, get it painted up, and then we'll bring it back and check it out when it's done. So here is my CHAMELEON Carnotaurus now painted up, and I am definitely quite happy with it, and I'm just in general so happy to have another version of his CHAMELEON Carnotaurus now in my collection. I tried to give this kind of a little bit of flashiness, mostly with the yellow tones and stuff that we have on this, because in that sheet that he included, he states that in his version of the CHAMELEON Carnotaurus that the males have somewhat more vibrant colors than what you see on the female, a little bit more vibrant. So I did try to capture that because this is the male Carnotaurus when it comes to his versions, and I think I did an alright job as far as that goes, but I'm definitely happy again with the final product as far as the paintwork and everything goes. And of course his model overall is absolutely gorgeous. As you can see from a distance, it is far and away one of the coolest and most unique Carnotaurus models you will see, and he is going to offer this in painted and obviously built and painted versions as well as unpainted model kits, so you can go for whatever version you would prefer. As far as his paintwork goes, for the painted version, this is what it would look like right here, so that gives you an idea as far as what the painted version will be if you go that route. But again, it is absolutely incredible when it comes to the final product. Easily one of the coolest Carnotaurus that I have in my collection. But you'll have to let me know in the comments section, of course, what you think of it and whether or not you like the paintwork on mine. But he is actually, if you do purchase one of these, he's going to include a card with his contact information in the purchase so that you can share with him your painted images and everything, because he definitely would like to see that. But hopefully the paintwork on mine turned out okay. I'm very happy with it, and again, even more so, just in general happy to have such a super cool CHAMELEON Carnotaurus. As far as a size goes for the Carnotaurus, for a length, you are looking at right a little bit, I was going to say a little under 12 inches, but I would say it's probably closer to 11 3/4 inches or around 30 centimeters. And then for a height, the highest point is definitely the tip of the horn. You are looking at about 4.5 inches or 11.5 centimeters. For a size comparison, there are our usual review comparison suspects, as we have Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, Robert Muldoon, and the Collect Day human being next to our Carnotaurus. And you can see the Carnotaurus is definitely pretty sizable without being absolutely massive. So it is a very nicely sized figure as a whole, and hopefully these figures next to it will help to give you at least somewhat of an idea of the size. Then for a few more Carnotaurus comparisons, first of all, we have the Papo Carnotaurus, which you can see very clearly is a good bit smaller. We've also got the PNSO Carnotaurus, which at this point it looks like the Lulu's Customs and Classics version is about to take it down as he's about to take a bite out of his tail. But obviously you can also see that the Lulu's Customs and Classics version is a little bit bigger. And then for one final comparison, because we have actually already reviewed some CHAMELEON Carnotaurus from Lulu in the past, but this one's a little bit different in size. But you can see here is the Howlong Good version of the Carnotaurus next to the Lulu's Customs and Classics version, again showing you that the Howlong Good version as well is a little bit smaller. Also, I'm apparently a liar, because here is one final comparison, as we have the previous male version of the Carnotaurus from Lulu's Customs and Classics next to the newer version, the more improved version, which you can see again. There's a good bit of difference between the older one and the newer one. We've got like a neck flap there with the skin in the neck. You've also got longer, more very cool looking horns, and the positioning is quite different. There's actually quite a bit that differs on the newer one compared to the older one, but they do look super, super cool together. Obviously, the older one was painted by Lulu's Customs and Classics, features a much more vibrant color scheme than what I gave it. Maybe mine's a little bit more boring, I think, than his. But again, it does still look really cool to see the two of them next to each other. So this Lulu's Customs and Classics CHAMELEON Carnotaurus, the Bull CHAMELEON Carnotaurus, is very, very cool. Honestly, if you are a Carnotaurus fan, or if you are just in general a fan of unique dinosaur models, this has got to be one of the coolest ones out there. What's cooler, honestly, than a Carnotaurus that's kind of, of course, taken after the Lost World Jurassic Park version, but also, again, strongly featuring that kind of chameleon look, which I think he's perfectly applied to the sculpt here of his version. And on top of, again, kind of keeping that chameleon look, he's also combined elements of Carnotaurus, the actual dinosaur, very nicely, and just kind of blended it together into the perfect mixture of a chameleon and Carnotaurus. And, like I said earlier, you have the option of buying it painted by Lulu, or you have the option to build it and paint it yourself, which is the route that I've gone here. And I must say, it was an absolute blast painting this one up. I had so much fun, and I'm very happy with the final product, again showing off how incredible of a Carnotaurus this is. So of course the paintwork, like I said, done by me. You'll have to let me know in the comment section if you think it turned out pretty nice or not, but when it comes to the final product, it's absolutely one of the coolest Carnotaurus that I have in my collection. So if you are interested in grabbing one for yourself, I will include a link in the description to where you will be able to do that on Lulu's Customs and Classics eBay store. Again, I don't know for sure if they are available yet. You'll have to check the link and again see if he's got them up there or not. But if not, again, you can contact him on Instagram and inquire further about when they will be available. But your best bet is just to check the eBay store first. But again, check the links in the description. Definitely pick this up. And of course, like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.